So we'll start with a little bit on MongoDB side, this, and then we'll move with little microservices also. I'll give an idea about what is happening so that you can cover it fast. Okay. Nicely we'll cover so that we'll understand a lot of things. Okay. First of all, you can learn whether MongoDB or which is a non-relational, non-schema database, or you can use a relational database also, which is Postgre or MySQL. We have to learn both ideally, because any application can work on any of the database, right? So we'll start with MongoDB. Then later I will teach you on Postgre or MySQL. We'll go there also, but we'll cover fast so that we'll understand a lot in less time. Again, what MongoDB? So we know that it's a database. The company name is basically MongoDB because they are having other services. Okay. It's named from humongous as it can store a lot of data. Okay, it can store a lot of data means it doesn't follows the tabular structure of like any relational database, right? Like MySQL server, how you are storing data with a ID primary key, then there is a data you are inserting and removing and all those things, right? But you are following a schema. So you are setting up that, okay, this table will have, these are the columns and these are the values. The columns are fixed, or maybe columns we can change. And the records that are there in every table that are having equal number of columns for every record, right? It's not like one record will have 3 columns and one record will have 5 columns. No, the data might be empty, but the columns are available for every record, right? But
so I mean, the data will be in key value pairs, is it?
in MongoDB it will be key value pair, but
Okay.
in relational it won't be key value pair. I'll just show you. Okay, so basically what I'm trying to say is, this is the table, and if this is the, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so here it will be so if it is an employee, so it will be employee. Okay, let me write in small writer. Okay, ID. Okay, and name, age, address, department, and this can be maybe section or something, or maybe profession, whatever. Profession. Okay, like this. So which means that any number of records I'm having, okay, so there is one record, there is one more record. So these 3 records that I'm having, each record will be having this number of these many columns, and the value can be there or not, but the columns remains fixed, right? This is in relational, right?
Yeah.
Postgre relational DB. It means Postgre or MySQL or whatever. Okay, but if the same thing is in MongoDB or CouchDB, which is a non-relational schema-less, right? There, one of the record might have the ID, name, and age. Other might have ID, name, age, and address. Other might have ID, name, age, address, department, profession. That means it's a schema-less.
Okay.
So this is schema. Means it follows the same structure, but schema-less doesn't follow the same structure. Understood? Doesn't follow the same structure means it might have a different, all the properties might not be same for every record. Okay, I'll explain a lot later, but just understand. So MongoDB running in MongoDB server, there can be multiple databases running in a MongoDB server. Basically, there is a, like MySQL server is there, right? When you install MySQL or SQL server, there is a database server. The database inside the database server, the database will be there, right? So you can start or stop the server, the database server, by going to the services section. Okay, I'll just show you. So you'll just go to the services section. In the services section, the services, all the services that is running in your system will open. In this case, you will have, if it is MySQL server is there, or Postgres server is there. Similarly, MongoDB server will be there. You see, MySQL it is running. Similarly, MongoDB server is running. So I can start and stop the server. If I start the server, I can access the MongoDB server. If I stop it, I can't access it. The database. I can't access the database. Now my SQL server is running. I can just do a right click and I can do a stop. So it will stop the MySQL 800 server. Understood? Clear?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Now, non-relational means schemaless. Schemaless means I just said you they are not following a particular structure. Okay. Now,
Mm.
collection in non-relational DB is similar to table in relational DB. That means what it is trying to say is, like, this is the database. Okay, this is the DB. In every database, in relational kind of database, there is this particular called table. This is a table. Okay, but non-relational, it is called collections. Understood?
Okay.
In relational, it is called table. In non-relational, it is called collections.
Collection. Okay.
Then every table in relational has records. These are all different rows and columns, right? These rows are
Mm-hmm.
record. But in non-relational, these are called documents.
Okay.
Understood? That is the only difference. Only name convention is
So
different.
records versus documents, and that is
Collections
uh,
table.
yeah. Okay.
Okay. Every collection has a
Mhm.
document which has data in JSON format. Okay. So
Okay. Okay.
the data in the document is always a JSON format data. That means it's in the JSON format. Okay.
Yeah.
Documents are schemaless, means it doesn't follows that every record has every document will have all the properties of the whatever is there in the collection. It doesn't form. But obviously, when you are talking about scalability, then we will always ensure that a little bit of schema is followed. It's not a hard and fast rule, but we have to ensure that the schema is followed, so that the data. I mean, there is no error whenever we are consuming the data. Understood?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Now, so JSON is converted to BSON, the binary format of JSON, by the MongoDB server to read it. So basically, what happens is that JSON, so how JSON will look? Okay, let me open something. Okay, let me write it over here only. JSON will look something like this, right? So name. So this is okay. It will give an error if I'm writing a single quote. It should not be a double quote. Okay. Now this is the JSON data. Okay. This is the
Okay.
right. So this can be one of the document. The other document can be in the something like this. Name. Now what is the difference? Now one document has name image, other document has a name image address. That's the reason it is schemaless. If we insert both these documents, then you have to insert something like this: db dot, maybe the employees is my database name. Okay. Then you have to write insert, and then you have to write the whatever the name we are giving, right? Maybe employees data, like this, right? This is how we'll insert the data into the database. So the database, so this can be db.employees, and employees is basically the collection name. Okay. And this can be employee db, like this, right? So it will insert the employee data into the employees collection of the employee db. Okay, I'll explain what is this later, but I'm just trying to explain you what it is, how we insert. Okay, understanding? Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is in JSON. Now what it is saying that it is saying that JSON is converted to BSON, the binary format of JSON, by the MongoDB server to read it. So basically, we are inserting for our readability. We are inserting it in the JSON format, but the MongoDB server doesn't read JSON data. It is for us, right? It reads binary data. It converts the JSON to BSON. That is binary. Uh, I think BS is binary string object notation something. This is JavaScript object notation. That is binary string object notation. I don't remember, but it is basically converting the JSON data to a binary format for it to store and to understand. Okay, so that is
Yeah.
it converts from JSON to BSON to store it, because it will be easier to store it and to understand it. So MongoDB server is doing it. Okay. Now this is about the introduction of MongoDB. Any doubt here till here?
No. Clear. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, how is MongoDB different than SQL? Okay, SQL normalized data means it structures data first, then establishes a relation between them. MongoDB stores data at one place. Means what it is trying to say is SQL, what it does. SQL will, so suppose I want to introduce a particular uh, set of data into a table, then I have to follow a proper procedure, right? I have to write a query in such a manner that every value that I'm inserting should be present as per the column name, right? Even if there is no data, I have to mention the column name. After inserting into it, then we are creating relation between different data. The relation we are creating based on their IDs. Suppose some ID will take it as a primary key, and then we have to establish this primary key link to the other table. That is the linking between table, which is basically if you have some data between two different tables and you want it, then you should have a link between two different tables. Then only you can extract data from both the tables, right? For example, this can be employee DB. Now, employee DB can be one more table if we can create. That is what I can tell. Maybe an example if I give, maybe related to the work they are doing, right? So the work they are doing, maybe one more table is there, and there are some columns there and some data over there. But how will the link? So if I tell you, find the work related details of employee with the employee ID as to 2, for example. So all the data will not be there in this table, na? It will be there in.
Yeah.
So now how will you know that based on the employee ID? How we will know? But employee ID is a column over here, not in the second table, right? So which means that this is the primary key of this table, and this table will be linked through this ID and one more ID of this table, second table, if we create it, right? This will be a relation between this both the tables, and then you can write the query if employee ID is this and his profession is this, and then find out the details of from this table, right? That relation you have to maintain. Understood now?
Yeah.
Basically, what it is trying to say is that in SQL or MySQL, PostgreSQL, in relational, it will create a relation. Then basically, it is saying that SQL normalizes the data, means it structures data first, then establishes relation between them. So structuring is important for them. Then only the relation you can maintain, right? But MongoDB, what it does is store data at one place. Means similar
Okay.
use case, if you want, then what I can do over here. So if I am telling that, okay, with employee ID as 2, find out all the details of that employee, which means that I can create one more maybe details property, and I can insert an object over here, and I'll write all the details of maybe other work related details, right? Like that.
Yeah.
Which means that in one document only the data is there. So no need to create a relation between two different tables, get the data, write queries and all those things. No need, right? Simple, do a query, find by whatever query methods are there, you can easily query it and get it, right? No need to create a separate one. Understood?
Yeah. Got it. Yeah.
Now, no or few relations, querying data is first. So no or few relations. So the benefit is MongoDB doesn't create any relation, right? So that, which means that there is no relations between different collections. Few relations are there. So that's the reason everything is there at one collection means. So that's the reason querying will be fast. But in SQL, you have to, if you have data scattered across two different tables, then you have to write two different queries, and all those relations you have to mention and then do the query, right? So memory allocation is more, and it is taking time also. So here it will be fast. Okay. No merging of data like in relational. So that's the reason it is saying no merging of data is there. That means some data from one table, some data from the different table, then finally final query, final data we prepare, then we send it, right, to the API. I mean,
Yeah.
here it is not like that. In one place only all data you can there. So only thing you have to understand is how you can query. If you know how to query, it will be fast. That is how MongoDB works. Okay. Now the MongoDB ecosystem is MongoDB database. Okay, MongoDB ecosystem. What does MongoDB has? Right. One is the database it is having. It is having something called Stitch. They are all not needed, but I just mentioned so that you will know. Okay. So self-managed or enterprise cloud manager, ops manager. This is the database basically. It can be self-managed. That means for your own use, or enterprise means company use. More than 20 people can work. Right. One is the Atlas. That means cloud-based database. Right. So cloud-based database means it is there in the cloud, the database. Okay. It is not a kind of a, physical data store kind of stuff. It is there in cloud. So you can log in. I think for free, they are giving around 100 MB data. So you can easily track. Okay.
Okay.
In my Node.js class, I have used Atlas only. Okay. If you just see the recording, you will know. Yes, you need
Okay.
to create you just need to create a account and log in it, and then you will have access. And you have to just share the connection string in your APIs when you are setting up the connection. I'll explain that how to do it, but that is very easy. Okay, it will take maximum 10 minutes. Now the
Okay.
mobile for mobile there will be a lighter kind of database. Every database has that. The compass is there where you can do setup. Then the charts are there. BI can I don't know what it is. Just need to, if you go to mongoli.com now, you can just see what is this guy, these things to learn more. Okay. And then there is serverless query API because everything is now serverless, right? That's the reason these are all very important. Serverless functions. So if you are getting connecting to AWS or Azure or GCP, if your applications are deployed there, then how will you access your connect your database with your serverless infrastructure? Those related stuff this is also very important. So I'll teach later, but you can just explore if you want to explore. Okay. Database triggers real-time sync. Okay, real-time sync is for offline support. So this is also very important. So important is one is this, and then there is these two, and there is this. Okay, and then there is mobile also is also kind of important for mobile applications. Okay. What we'll be studying is mostly this and this right now. Okay, this is a
Hmm.
very, these are all completely different topics. I mean, these are for mostly for serverless. We'll see if we cover a lot of, then we can go to that also. Okay. Now start and stop MongoDB server in services. Okay, I showed you how to start and so you can go to MongoDB. So basically, you have to install first MongoDB. Just go to MongoDB and .com, and then just click on it. Will download and install, and after that you have to install the services related to it. Okay, installing MongoDB shell. Okay, MongoDB shell is used to run MongoDB query functions in the terminal. Type Mongo. So basically, what I'm trying to say is, if you have to install MongoDB, just type in the MongoDB install. Simple, nothing difficult. Just go to install and double click and install it. There is nothing difficulty here. Okay. Install
Okay. Yeah.
the version. There will be to install the procedure. Okay. Installer you can just do install it, restart your system, and after restarting your system, it will be Mongoose will be already there. Basically, Mongoose is the cell, is the command line tool. Okay. So if you after installing and restarting your system, you will see that if when you go over here, not here, I think when you type it here. Okay, here also. So just type Mongoose. Basically, Mongoose is the cell. Okay, it's a command line tool through which you can access the database. Okay, every database has a way in which you can connect. One is through their command prompt. One is directly, I mean, through the database explorer, and other is through. These are the two ways generally. For explanation, I am using Mongoose. Just simple because we're just starting. But later we can go to the editor and then we can use it. Okay. But after installing, you can get all this access. Hmm?
Okay. Yeah.
Now, next is type mongoose in search and open it like how you opened. Next is cell versus driver. Okay, see, install the driver for the language you will work on. Example nodes. Okay, what it is trying to say is so basically driver why it is needed. See, MongoDB has its own functions to query the database, right? But in which language you are writing, you are using MongoDB. MongoDB is what MongoDB. We are using the database which is there in the MongoDB server. But in which language we are using MongoDB? We can use MongoDB in Java. We can use in Kotlin. We can use in .NET. We can use in Node.js. We can use in Python. We can use in Go. Right. So in different languages we can use MongoDB, which means that in their languages the syntax of MongoDB commands will be little different. Right, that's the reason you have to install in whichever language you are working. Related to that, there will be a driver. MongoDB driver is there that you have to install. Okay, so in that case, this is a very good place to just go through the docs and check. Okay. So let's look the Node.js driver. Okay. See, so many like this. See, the drivers came, right? Understood what I'm
Yeah.
trying? So many languages support they are having. So just need to click on the Node.js driver and you just need to download and install it. Simple. Nothing difficult here. Okay. Now when you install it, when you install it, what will happen is you can use the MongoDB with the Node.js. Okay. See, using MongoDB with Node.js, when you click, you will see some example here. How these guys are using. Okay, some videos are there, how to use it. Okay, understood?
Yeah.
So first thing you have to install MongoDB. Then check whether you are able to open the MongoDB cell. Okay, then install the Node.js MongoDB driver. Simple. Okay.
Yeah.
That
Right.
MongoDB plus client, the Node.js driver. Okay, why the driver is needed? It is written. The Node.js driver will connect to the MongoDB server when we write query function. Yeah, that is what the MongoDB server document connect to the MongoDB directly, but via storage engine. Okay, so what it is trying to say is when you are connecting your source, there is the UI. Okay, in the UI you are doing the API call. Okay, from the API call, the request you sent, it is coming to the server. Now the server is built in Node.js, right? Express server. Huh? So in the Express servers, it is trying to connect to what? To the database, MongoDB database, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Now, why we are needing the driver here? But what it is saying that MongoDB server connect to the MongoDB. It doesn't connect to the MongoDB directly. Okay, which means that from the Node.js, we know that we are connected to the database, but it is not happening directly. It is happening by something via the storage engine. Okay. Now, what is the storage engine? Storage engine can connect to the database and keep a copy of the database, but the read write is slow. Basically, what it is trying to say, if you directly connect to the database, if you don't have your server drivers installed, first of all, you can't connect to the database. Okay, because
Oh.
MongoDB server will check that from from which language, which kind of language I am trying to connect to. If I'm not install the driver, you can't connect to the MongoDB server. So first of all, you have to install the driver. Second is internally what happens is that we died from Node.js. We are not, connected to the MongoDB server directly. We are connected through something called the storage engine. So storage engine will basically keep a copy of the database, that is the MongoDB database, and it will, and you can, whether you want to get some data or whatever cloud operation you want to do, get, put, post, delete, whatever, right? That it can be done. So storage engine keeps a copy in the memory from which read write takes place, which is fast. So directly storage also will not connect us. So what it does is it keep a copy of the database so that the connection happens very fast and then the CRUD operation happens fast. That is internal. We don't have to go deep into it, but just to know that why MongoDB is so fast, right? Compared to relational, obviously schema less is there and then all these things are there, but scalability is also there, right? When you scale the number of users are more, then which will have good impact, whether MongoDB or whether this SQL Server or PostgreSQL, we don't know, right? And this is one more reason the storage engine we are using. The storage engine will keep a copy of the database so that the CRUD operation happens very fast through the memory. That's the reason it is faster. Someone will ask you this question, why it is faster or why it is preferable, then you can tell this part also.
Okay. Yeah. Sure, Sri. Yeah.
Now, understanding basics and cloud operation. Okay, the databases, collections, and documents. Okay, in Mongo's, click enter to launch. So basically, what it is trying to say is that I just clicked on here. I just type Mongo's and open the Mongo. So when I type Mongo's, right, I will open I'll open basically the Mongo cell here like this. Okay, then you just click on enter key. When you click on enter key, your laptop will be directly connected to the MongoDB server. There is a particular port through which it is this is the connection string. Okay, 27017 is the default port to which your laptop is getting connected to the MongoDB server. Okay, this connection is maintained directly. Just click on enter key, everything will happen. Okay, maybe while installing, they might ask in which port you want to run, then you can write this 27017 port. I don't think it will ask, but because this is a default port. Okay, so just click on enter key, so it will get connected. Now after that, you just write show DBs, so it will show what is the default DB. Sometime default DB will be there. Okay, default there will be DBs inside the. Are you understanding?
Yeah.
So default DBs will be there sometimes.
Mhm.
If it is not there, then you can just create DB dot maybe flight data. I have just written. You can write any employee data or anything, and
This
even
default DBs, when it will be created actually?
no, it will be there. Some DBs will be there by default. One
Okay.
will be there. You just if you want to see the data, then you can. That is for examples. But if you want to create a DB from scratch, you can write something like this DB dot flight data. So flight data will be a collection, and dot insert one, and then you can insert the decision. How I have done here. See, you did fly data to insert one, I insert one value. So it got acknowledged, okay? Which means that even if this particular DB was not there, so it got, it was visible, which means that if I just write show DBs here, now you see admin component config, why it is not showing? It should show here, the flight data, okay?
Okay.
I think it went inside somewhere. Okay. Anyway, so if some DB is not there, or a collection is not there, DB will be there, but no collection will be there. In that case, you can, kind of, okay, see, test is the DB, man. Sorry, but test is the DB. Okay. And inside this particular test, this collection flight data is created. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
This flight data was not there. So if it is not there, you are inserting a record, the automatically collection will be created and this document will also get created. Okay, that is how MongoDB works generally. Okay, so DB to show all existing DBs, database has collections, collection has document. If a collection is not present in a DB, when we insert values into it, the collection gets automatically created. Okay, this is the example.
Mm. Yeah.
Understood, right?
Yeah.
Clearly. So what we will do next is we will do all the CRUD operations in a particular. So we'll insert the data and do all the CRUD operations. How to understand the query commands and how to do this, that we will do. Okay. So now less time is there. So what I will do is that we will move to let me save it here. Now let's move to microservices. Okay. Why I move to microservices is because this is a frequently asked question in every system design round. So when you go to a system design round, they are asking these microservices, and obviously when you join a company as a full stack developer, you will create microservices. So no one
Okay.
standalone kind of projects, no one works nowadays. Okay, there is no standalone kind of projects right now. Everything is microservices.
Sorry to interrupt. What is the standalone actually? Standalone means without
That is,
microservices.
I'll explain everything I've written. I'll explain what standalone, but
Okay.
monolithic is what standalone. Standalone means, see, everything is there in one application. Like when you create a express application, what you have first, you do the routes. In the routes, all kind of routes are there. Everything are you're mentioning in the same application, right? So maybe one route will be there for authentication. One route will be there for maybe related to users, might be, or maybe related to filtering of searching of data, searching of users. So if you consider a e-commerce application, what are the different functionality you can perform? One is the authentication authorization you can perform, right? One is the cart related application you can work. One is related to search kind of application. One is the product listing and product detail kind of. So four different kind of features are there, right? For all the features in one application only we are writing, right?
Yeah.
You are writing for one route for authentication, one route for product, one route for filtering or searching, one route for maybe some recommendations, or one route maybe for some sales or kind of promotions, right? Everything we're writing in a one only is, one folder only. Not one folder, one application only. That is for for beginners it is okay, but real time projects are not done like this, because number of customers will increase, then it will fail, right? Server will crash basically later. Okay.
Okay.
So nowadays what they are doing is that one service is one express application. So authentication will be separate express application. Um, Product listing products will be separate application, so that one team will focus on product, one team can focus on authentication, one team can focus on maybe recommendation, one team can focus on promotion. So in UI we are
Yeah.
having micro front end, similarly in backend we are having microservices, same concept. Understood?
Yeah.
Okay. No,
Got it. Yeah.
lot of things we'll do coding and everything, but today is kind of a first class, so I'll just giving a brief understanding about database and brief understanding about the microservices part. Okay. So I'll give
Yeah.
simultaneous knowledge on so many things so that you can relate it easily. And when we code,
Mhm.
you can easily understand. Okay.
Yeah.
Now see, monolith means contains routing, middlewares, business logic, and database access code to implement all features in the same folder of our app. Okay. It means that what I was saying. So we are having routing, we're having middleware, we are having business logic. So, and we are having database access, everything in one application, in one app only. But a microservice means a single microservice containing routing, middlewares, business logic, database access code to implement one feature only. Here you see
Mhm.
features, this is one features. Okay, which means that, and if I just do a diagram, let me do the diagram and show you. So basically, what he's trying to say is, oh, this is this would have been a monolithic application. So this is the DB. and this is the monolith. Okay. So here what I can have, here what, so I'll have routing also here, right? Then I will have the logic or middleware, right? I will have the logic, business logic. Okay. And I will have the database connection, DB connection, all in the same application. And then I will be having one database to which one or more database which I can connect, right? All the
Yeah.
routing, all the middleware, all the business logic, all the DB connection. Now this is a monolith. So I'll just write here all. Okay. Now if this becomes a microservices, this is a microservice, then it is not for all, it is for one feature. Means for example, for auth, there will be auth microservices, right? That means whatever route you are having, whatever routing is there only for auth. Whatever middleware you are having only for the auth service, for the auth feature.
Okay.
So auth related routings, auth related middleware, auth related business logic, auth related DB connection.
DB connection.
Similarly, there is one more service. If there is one more service, how can I connect everything? Then so same thing, but this microservices is for what? Maybe for products. Got it? Understood?
Yeah.
Which means that every service is not connected to each other, right? Every service is not connected to each other. That is a separate entity, right? So two microservices are not connected to each other. There is a way in which we can connect one microservice to another microservices. So one team can now work on auth, one team can now work on products. Teams are separate now. The question is how to connect this microservice. Maybe some data is for products is needed with auth, or from auth is needed with products. So for obviously with auth is needed with every kind of all different microservices, right? In that case, how
Yeah.
that connection will happen through something called event bus. So it's a synchronous kind of connection or asynchronous kind of connection. Synchronous connection means directly you can connect. Asynchronous means through events will connect. We'll understand that.
Okay.
Now, this is over. Okay, auth microservice means request auth router auth business logic DB for auth. Okay, advanced microservice over a monolith happens even though most of the tech services is down. One of them will work as each microservice is standalone service. So what it is trying to say is that if you are having a monolithic, what happens is you are if if the application is down, means none of the services you can work will work. But microservices benefit is one of the service is down, then other services will be working because every service are kind of a standalone. They have their own DBs and everything. It's a standalone kind of a application. So suppose the auth service is not working, then products will work, no problem with that. Or the product is not
Yeah.
working, auth will work, no problem, because there is no connection between them. Right?
Yeah.
Now, data and microservices, data management between microservices is a big problem. Each service gets its own database. If it needs one, yes, services will never ever reach into another services database. Okay, so that means they are maintaining unique database for every service. That is a good approach. So why database per service pattern? Why we need a separate database for each service? We want each service to run independently of other services. That is one of the reason. It should run independently, which means that if one or more services use the same database, if we need to scale the database for one service, but the other services don't need it. Okay, but what it is trying to say is, suppose maybe this service also doesn't has a separate database, but this service is trying to use the same database. So the problem with that is, suppose because this service needs the access of this database, if some connection problem happens, then neither of them can will work. That is one thing. Second is, if you want to scale the database, that means the size you want to increase, or maybe amount memory of this database you want to increase, right? But this service doesn't need it. It doesn't need it. This will need it because this is a product. This might not need it. In that case, it's a memory wastage, right?
Yeah.
So that's the reason. Those are the reasons in which every service can have own database, so that it will make a optimum use of its available resources. Okay. If the common database fails, all the services will fail. Now, for 5 different services, we are having the same database. So what will happen? Because the connection is one more service I'll write. I'll connect to the same database. So if the database some problem is there, none of the service will work. That is one more problem, right? So that is
Yeah.
for every service there will be separate database. Okay.
Got it.
Now,
Yeah.
database schema structure might change unexpectedly. Yes. And then if it changes unexpectedly, every common service will be broken, right? Because everyone is determined. So every service, if there is a common database, what happens is that the schema that we are following now, that should be common only. Whether it's a relational or non-relational, what that doesn't matter. Because whatever data you are consuming from here, we are assuming that okay, the structure has not changed. Now, if the structure is changed, then what you will get? Unexpected data you will get, right? So in that case, how will you use that unexpected data if it is changing every time?
Mm.
You are using relation, non-relation, always keep a proper structure.
Yeah.
Basically, MongoDB will give you that flexibility of not having a proper structure, but it is always recommended to have a proper structure. If the structure changes, everything will fail because the code that you have written is based on the structure that you are thinking in the database that is there, right?
Correct. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's the reason you shouldn't always have a same common database. You shouldn't have. Okay. Now, some services might functions more efficiently with different types of database. Yeah. So maybe some authentication might need a MongoDB if you want to do it faster. But products is a very heavy, so it needs a relational kind of database. So you need a MySQL or PostgreSQL kind of database, right? It depends on the service, depending upon the use case also, you can change the database. In that case, common database will not work. Okay. Now, if you create three,
Yeah.
point.
Yeah. Yeah. Got it. Got it.
If you create 3 different services for 3 different functionalities of an app, then there would be a new service which needs data from all the 3 DBs allocated to 3 different services. How to do it? Okay,
Mm.
which means that it is saying that okay, maybe I will create a new service which needs data from service A, service B, service C, right? So in that case, how will I do it? In that case, also you are connecting one service D with all the service A, B, C. And if one of the service fails, then the service D will not work, right? Because it is getting connected. Direct connection is there. Right? Then how will you
Mm.
manage? To manage it, we are having 2 different approaches. One is synchronous approach, one is asynchronous approach. Okay. So the synchronous approach of connecting different services means that communication statuses between services. Asynchronous means services communicate with each other using direct request. Okay. Which means
Okay.
that
Okay.
direct request means you can directly connect with each other directly.
Mm-hmm.
Service connects directly with another service, direct connection. That is one way. That is synchronous. Advantage is conceptually easy to understand. Service D won't need a database in that case, right? And because service D wants data from service A, service B, service C, that means we can do a direct connection between service D with all the 3 database. I get the data and I'm happy. But the disadvantage is it introduces a dependency between services. If any inter-services request